This is Mikey T, the movie star, and I'm outdoors. Pay attention. I'm not saying I'm outside. I'm telling you that I'm outdoors.
We outside. Yeah, that's right.
That is a non-aggressive fashion. Outdoors. I'm in Coney Island, so I'm going to be on my best behavior. Y'all remember what happened when I was in Philly? I'm not up in Nathan's trying to get a hot dog here. I got the invite.
That's
We're
right.
here with Coney Soprano.
Facts.
Because guess what? HBO doesn't make that show no more. So I said if HBO doesn't make that show no more, I'm going to go make a movie. So I'm here with Gorilla Nems, and I'm here with a man that's got like 1 billion views. We're going to show you how to conduct a proper interview. What's going on, Nems? I appreciate the chance to speak with you today.
Enjoying life. Be in front of the Fuck Your Life store with Coney Island, and we having a good time. One of the only rappers that smiles and jokes. You know what I'm saying? That's what life is about, man. What happened in Philly, though, man?
Oh, I went out to Philly.
I didn't watch the thing. I seen a little clip of him choking you out.
Well, I mean, he ran up on me. He was trying to smack me, right? So he just.
It was an interview with him?
Nah, it wasn't an interview with him. I was just getting done with some work, so I went to go get a Philly cheesesteak. I went out to Max's.
I did notice where it was, though, Max's. And I do go to Philly a lot, and I know Max's is the worst spot you can go for a cheesesteak if somebody's looking for you from Philly.
But it's also the best spot if you want the best. You want the best Philly cheesesteak. And I wasn't doing that to disrespect A.R. Rab's brother, Leak Moss.
Yeah.
It's just something that I really do on a regular basis. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, so honestly, I shouldn't have been out there.
You already had beef with him?
Yeah, we had kind of had beef.
Why?
He started going at it with Dark Low, and I took Dark Low's side. Like, what are you doing?
Lick Moss went after Dark Low?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he came out there, and he wanted to smack me. So I was like, yo, it's not going down like that. I should have really realistically just talked it out with him that day, but maybe I was being a little aggressive.
Okay.
Is Coney Island just like every other hood? Tell me, Nems, what is it really like living in Coney Island?
Coney Island is kind of different. Coney Island is world famous. Everybody knows of Coney Island, and when you think of Coney Island, you think of like the rides. These rides is like this is like the first amusement park ever. Like in the 1900s, this shit was like Disney. Also, this is like where the mob is from. Like back in the days, this is where Al Capone got his face cut. That's why he got the name Scarface, because he caught $1.50 out here. Lucky Luciano over here, big mob murders. There's like a famous picture where the mobster's holding the ace of spades in his hand, dead. That was right up the block from here. So, everybody knows of Coney Island, but they don't know that the ride is Stillwell Avenue right there. That's where the train is. So the ride is this way. The neighborhood is this way, which is 3 avenues, 21 blocks.
Is it mostly row housing, or is it a lot of project housing?
Nothing but projects. The row houses is not like Atlantic City. I guess back in the day they had row housing, but there's none of that no more. It's all projects. Every block is a different project out here. There's like 10 to 20 different projects out here on every block.
So I want you to tell me a little bit about your early life growing up in Coney Island before moving to Staten Island.
So Coney Island, I've been here since birth. Dwyer Projects, so Dwyer Gardens houses. That's at the end of Coney Island. Like I said, Coney Island's 3 avenues, 21 blocks. So, growing up out here was like royalty because my family was heavy in the streets. And around 13, my mother actually saved up enough or did a thing and bought a house. And we moved to Staten Island right when I was getting into high school, like the end of 8th grade, going into 9th grade. And I went to high school for like a year or 2 over there, and I got a superintendent suspension. I couldn't go to any New York public high school. So I had to go to my grandparents in the Poconos, and that's where I started writing raps. And then I came back to Staten Island when I dropped out of high school, and then my mother lost the house. So probably from 13 to 18, we were in Staten Island, and 18 moved back to Coney Island, and I just stayed here until recently. Not recently, a couple of years ago.
How did you know that you didn't want a normal life working a job?
I don't know. That shit was just instilled in me from early. Like I knew that that's not the type of life I wanted to live. I always was into wrestling when I was a kid. I don't really watch wrestling no more. But I knew I either wanted to be a rapper or a wrestler for some reason when I was a kid. And my mother was always gone. I was the only child. I have a huge family. My cousins are like my brothers. But I would just be home alone, fucking making mixtapes, fucking rapping in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So it just wound up being rap.
It gets a little bit more controversial than that. Early on you got kicked out of school for, was it setting a fire?
Setting a fire, absolutely. I was talking to a girl, and I fucking just lit a piece of like paper on the wall, and just talking, I was just fucking around, flicking my light, and the whole shit went up. Not the school, just the paper, and they gave me a superintendent suspension for arson. And I couldn't go to, like I said, I couldn't go to no New York public high school for a whole year. So my moms ain't had money to put me in private school, so she sent me to the Poconos, which was one of the best things. Everything happens for a reason.
So was it prior to the school fire that you actually got into a fight with your principal, or was it your dean?
Nah, that was after, when I came back. When I came back, I punched one of the teachers in the face. Might have been the dean, I don't know. I don't remember at this point. I did a lot of drugs in between them. But I definitely punched the teacher in the face, and then they was just like, all right, but you're done. And that's when I dropped out of school.
Yep, so you eventually come back to Coney Island. Like, how did it feel coming home and pimping out your old apartment? And I mean pimping like Pimp My Ride exhibit.
Yeah. Nah, I came back to the crib. My mother had given up the apartment, project apartments, you don't just give up. So she left it with my uncle. So when I moved back in with him, like I said, my family was heavy in the streets. So I would see people come to the door. My uncle was serving them, At the time, my mom's was going in and out of rehab. So I was basically had on the own to fend for myself out here. And, I just started running the streets like any average 18-year-old would. And I was on my own, making my own money, selling ecstasy, selling weed, whatever I could to get by. And then I started taking mad ecstasy back then. And that's when I had my first deal with Def Jam.
A lot of rappers get criticism when fans don't understand like why they want to go back to their original environment. I can see that sitting in your store here today, that, you've never turned your back on where you come from. Can you explain to me why you think it's important to give back to your community?
Well, really, like, I didn't choose to come back after Staten Island. Like, I would have loved to stay in Staten Island and live the suburb life. You know what I'm saying? But my mother lost the house. She relapsed. She was a drug addict. She got clean for a long time, and then she relapsed. So she lost the house, and we was back over here. So it wasn't like it was a choice, like, yo, I'm going back to the hood. It was like, yeah, damn, we going back to the hood. And I just always knew that there wasn't no rappers that came out of here. There wasn't any rapper that came out of here. There was like ball players, Stephon, Sebastian Telfair, now Lance Stevenson, Isaiah Whitehead, a couple others, but there was never no rapper that came out of here that was signed, like officially signed. So I always knew that there was, Bed-Stuy got Biggie, Jay-Z, East New York, Uncle Murder. Every neighborhood in Brooklyn had a rapper that was signed and was in the game officially. And I knew Coney Island didn't have that. So I always was like, yo, this is a world-famous neighborhood over here. I gotta put on for this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Like, Big ain't even shout us out in Brooklyn's finest. That shit got me tight. We the only neighborhood in Brooklyn that ain't get shouted out. I was like, yo, I gotta put on for this neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And, like, with my family running things, and also with me just running around, like, I was good on every block out here because I moved dolo. However I move, I move dolo. If there's a problem, I handle it dolo. Yeah, I have family, I have friends that will hold me down, but for the most part, when you see me, you would see me roaming around these streets dolo. And so I was cool on every block, good on every block. And I was like, I got to represent for out here, man.